இன்னும் ஸ்டார்ட் ஆகல.
ஹாய் ரசிகா.
ஹாய் அம்மா. ஹாய்.
எப்படி இருக்க?
நல்லா இருக்கேன். லவ்லி பேக்ரவுண்ட்.
அனிஷா கிரியேட்டட்.
Yeah.
Okay. It is nice meeting on a Sunday afternoon when it is heavily downpouring in Chennai. I am missing you actually. You would have asked bhaji, soji or onion pakoda or something of that sort. Anisha says, oh, it's too oily. Don't make anything of that.
Oh my God. She's probably way too mature than any of us in that aspect.
No, it is not that mature, I should say.
I was sarcastic.
She's more into, if it is French fries and oils, it doesn't matter to
French
her.
fries with peri-peri.
Yes.
And that's something that probably we'll be covering later today.
We will talk a lot because this conversation, which we were thinking that we should have it on one-on-one with us, the idea of yours making it as a podcast or a conversation which will be useful for many is really good. I appreciate it because the same topic time and again I talk with my school parents, my school teachers, my other medium platform colleagues, friends. I think once we air this idea, we also get many inputs and we can widen our thought process. We also will be in a position to enrich on certain points which we cherish. That is what I thought that I can ask you some questions and in turn you can answer me and you can ask you to have a good conversation.
Yeah, looking forward to the dialogue actually. And yes. Probably we are letting people into our living room doing this.
Yes.
And looking forward to that. Vasudhaika Kutumbam. That is the reality that we live with. So everybody is welcome into our living room.
Correct. You always connect food with people, right, Rasika?
I do.
Food is not just a food. It is connected with people always. Tell me, maybe if you can remember that what is your earliest memory of food which you cherish even now?
I do very vividly, but before I get to that aspect and that journey of mine with food, I'd like to expand a bit more about why we chose food as a subject and what is the context of food being the center of today's
Yes,
discussion.
I wanted to ask that, in fact, yes.
Because I am wearing two hats today. This is a living room discussion which we've had umpteen times and we've opened up. That's one thing. The second thing is I am also trustee of Age UK Westminster. Age UK Westminster is an organization's charity that looks after people 55 and older and their well-being and policies that we can help influence to make lives better for them. We address the smallest of things ranging from loneliness and isolation to lack of digital skills to communication to medical needs and everything. It's a wide-ranging, in Tamil, if I was to translate it in Tamil, it's also partly government funded. It's a Mudiyor Nalan Variyam kind of thing. That's what I keep telling you. If I don't think there is one in India, but if we roughly translate it, that's what this becomes. And ever since I've been associated with them, I do a lot of volunteering with them whenever I can as well. So, Seva kind of thing. And lately during Christmas, Christmas at least in the UK is not a religious thing, not merely a religious thing. It comes across barriers. It just brings communities together. It's the biggest thing. In India, you've got one festival a month and one festival every 15 days. You can kind of bring people together. But here in the UK, Christmas and probably Easter are two big things that kind of bring people together. And Christmas is probably the biggest thing. No bets on it. And we went around AGK Westminster, all of us volunteers, trustees, we went around delivering hot meals to lonely elderly people in Westminster, and we covered about 150 people on the day, from morning,
Wow.
evening, afternoon shift. So they were all very lonely. They're either bed bound, or there's nobody alive in their kith and kin family, or they are very
Mm.
far, they cannot come through, or any various reasons. Partners
Mm.
died recently, whatever. So and then a lot of those 150 people told us that we were the only people who knocked on their door on Christmas Day, and they are not expecting that anybody else will knock for the rest of the day. So that was a moment of realization, I should say. Like, I keep telling you, although government provides a lot of facilities to elderly people in this country, and they have systems in place to look after them, there's often what it is lacking is a personal touch, is a caring touch, is a
Yes.
soothing word. I keep
Yes.
telling you this, and I get that sense because I was born and raised in a joint family. And when I talk about family, I cannot think of you, me, Diksha, Hari, or Aniksha alone. This is not This is not my family. Is not confined to that bit. My family is big. It involves all my perimas, chittis, mamas, mamis, cousins, everybody. Family for me means that whole khandan in a practical aspect. That's because of the way I was raised. Thanks to you for that. And we'll come to that point little later. But today I wanted to do this because that Christmas incident kind of still haunts me. And I'm afraid this generation of mine and afterwards, we are going down that path, and we are not very far away until, sadly, Indians might say this. And I want to do my bit in kind of helping prevent that through sharing lived experience.
Lovely.
What better way to connect with people in the family, particularly elderly people, than food?
True. True.
Yeah, that's
When I remember my party, that is Arvati Amma,
yeah.
I don't remember her as a personality alone. I remember her through the food she served. Even my Paramakudi party, the most fondest memories where she gets Gandharva Kallamitai on the way from Shivagangai to Kumbakonam. She gets Gandharva Kallamitai for me, and she makes wonderful pulikan. That's how parties, especially we remember only with because I never had tatas in both end. So parties I remember through their food. I cherish their memories through their food. In fact, for that matter, when we speak about elderly people, we just don't speak about their good qualities alone. We speak about their the best cuisine which they have served for us also.
Indeed.
Yes. So we always say, sambar ennama pannina. So that is one of the major quality that she's a sweet person. She's the way how they serve food also, and especially in India, serving food is an art. That when a person we serve the food to the guest or to the family members, we just don't serve what they want, what they don't want. We serve based on their eating capacity, based on their likings, dislikings. Some people like curries more and they eat. The way how they take the curry, mix and eat shows how much they like it. And it's all body language, it's all eating habits, which eating mannerisms, which makes us understand what do they want, what is not liked by them. Based on that, we serve. All those things is an art. I think it is slowly diminishing, I should say. Now, and most of the dining table culture is keep everything on the table, sit around, and then serve whatever you want. I don't say that is wrong, but that personal touch is really missing. What do you say?
Indeed. And you asked me about my first food memory. I'll start from there and come to what you've just said. You know it. You've heard it a zillion times by now, and people in the family widely know it. But for the benefit of the record, I'd say food. The first thought, whenever you say food, the first person I remember is Premi Patti. And that is an undisputed fact. If I
Indeed.
don't talk about her today, it is Atmadroham. Nothing
Correct.
else, nothing less than Atmadroham. Because
Correct.
she was my first interaction with Annapurneshwari. Nothing less. And it's not just what she made, it is how she made it and how much she made it and how everybody had had to their soul's content. Like I've seen Narsimha uncle, Saidamma, Tirupatama, everybody have food in our house. Like the dining table was not just for us, it was for everybody. Maestri's
True.
family, Vijayaka, everybody. Like that was how it was. And Premi Party's food can never go wrong. I'm not boasting it, and you know it. It can never go wrong. And if
My cousin Satyana, my Peripa Payan, Satyana, the one who's working in ISRO, that mama, once said when he came to Hyderabad that இந்த மாமி சமையல்ல உப்பு உரப்பு புளிப்பு அந்த அறுசுவையும் கரெக்ட் ப்ரொபோர்ஷன்ல இருக்கு. ஒருத்தர் டிக்ஷனரியில ஒருத்தர் வந்து இதான் ஆத்தென்டிக், இதான் கரெக்ட் ப்ரொபோர்ஷன் அப்படின்னு ஒரு விஷயத்த சமையல்ல எழுதணும்னா அது இவங்க கிட்ட இருந்து எடுத்துட்டு தான் எழுதணும் அப்படின்னு.
correct, I 100% second that. Because see, for me, Premi Party's food is elixir, amrutam. Even if life was to go out of my body, if you put a tip of Premi Party's food into my tongue, I'd probably spring back alive. That is the impact that her food has on me till date. And even now I do this. You know, I lost my grandparents at age 9, and till date I do this. I just close my eyes sometimes when I feel too frustrated about things or too irritated. Just try and think what Premi Party's Bagara Bangan would taste like, or her stew, her aloo stew would taste like, her fried rice would taste like, or all other USP items, and try and relive that taste in my palate. And that probably keeps my energy going. You know, I'm having a bit of issues with appetite these days, so that my appetite is not as good as it used to be. And I do this to keep my energy levels high. It gives me the same satisfaction as though I've eaten. So that is the impact that she's had. She still lives with me.
Yeah, that is what is called as homesick, Rasika.
Yeah. Oh, you've had your.
You don't agree, but yes. But then I would like to make a small correction, if you allow me. One can say I miss rather saying I lost. I feel this would be inappropriate if you like it. I
Okay.
lost somebody.
I
miss
I
somebody.
stand corrected. I stand corrected in that respect. And yeah, so that's the beginning of the food journey, but that was ably propagated by Sarla Patti in her typical Tam Bram cuisine. She is the master of that cuisine. And yourself, what I love about you and your cooking the most is you bring the best of everything. You bring the best of Premi Patti, you bring the best of Sarla Patti, you bring the best of typical Hyderabadi cooking, vegetable biryani, Mysore bonda, Siddipet Jonnavada, that kind of stuff. So
Mysore bonda is not from Hyderabad for that matter.
it was not from Hyderabad, but Hyderabad has some of the best outlets that makes the best Mysore bonda.
Mysore bondas, yes.
Yeah. So those kind of things, your Sakkara Pongal, these are all things that are very, very niche. And your Kaimanam is probably the best blend of all the Kaimanams that I've had. That is why I am so possessive and protective of that. And that is why when you say, I watched a particular YouTube video and tried a dish, I get scared because that might mess up with your Kaimanam.
Why do you think so? I can also learn from the other people.
You know, you can
always object me to watch something on YouTube and learn. That is not correct.
I don't object you to watch something from YouTube and learn to make pasta, learn to make pizza, learn to make things that
No, the same
I'm not-
visible part can be in a various
Yes, it can
version
be.
which I can learn and do.
Yeah, it can be in a varied version. You can learn and do. You have all the liberty to learn, and I don't question that. But I know one of the YouTube channels kind of advised you to put kadugu or mustard in bagara baingan, which is obnoxious. If
But
the preamble of
it is
so
not actually.
excuse me,
become
mummy.
branded.
If the preamble of the Indian Constitution hadn't granted the right of freedom of speech, faith, belief, and expression, I would have pressed charges on that YouTube channel for ruining the cultural identity of my Bagara Baingan. You know, that's how that's how I see Kai Manam as. So I want your Kai Manam to be intact till the time I am around, I am alive. Your Kai Manam should stay the way it is. That is my concern. You watching YouTube videos is not my concern. Something might mess up with your Kai Manam is my concern.
I understand. I agree with you.
That is that. You know, this is turning into a true living room conversation. We are having our skirmishes now. Good. Healthy ones.
Started with Premi Party and moving on to Sarala Party. I wanted to tell you, which maybe as a kid you probably wouldn't have observed, but maybe later stages you would have realized. Both had one unique quality, that when it comes to food, there is no partiality.
Exactly.
Whether you are poor, you are rich, you belong to this caste, that community, never ever matters. Food is same for all in both the houses is what I've learned. In fact, being in Kumbakonam, being an Orthodox Brahmin lady, Sarala Party could break all the barriers, and she made it very clear that food will be cooked abundantly and kept it on the dining table. I'm going to office. Those who come late, I kept plates and banana leaves. Choose one, eat. Clean the table and move on. That is what she used to do. It would be a little easy for Premi Party because she was in Hyderabad by then, when she was not with the typical conservative community. She was in a developed state place. Sarala Party never bothered about what people speak and all. People used to sarcastically ask Party also, Ennadi Sarala inniki sattarama, sattarathula inniki enna samayal, sattaram tharandu vachacha, like that people used to comment and all. The Party used to very proudly laugh and say, enna samayal na aathu vandu saaptu dhaan paarengo, and then she moves on. So when Party passed away, I should tell you that many came home and then they were only praising about her food. The day they came, till those 10 days, whomsoever came, everybody were praising her way of making food and serving food. That is what people were cherishing like anything. So she connected with the community, not only with her relatives, with the total community through food. Then I realized food is a very strong medium. We think we order in Swiggy, Zomato and eat and finish it off. What a big deal, but it is a big deal. It is actually a big deal. Food is a strong medium, very strong medium.
Exactly, and that tradition is what I try and keep alive here in whatever little capacity I can.
Yeah, you being both parties' grandchild, got it in genes.
I try and do my best. I cannot do 1% of what they've done, but I try and do whatever little I can. Like in Telugu, you say Udata Bhaktiga, like that. Udata Bhakti, whatever you can. And something, yeah, roughly translates to that. So that is what I keep doing. That's why I keep giving to food banks, delivering hot meals and all of that stuff. Whatever, it's not about me today. But thing is, I have heard this because Ramandat also told me when they were building the Kumbakonam house, the Kottanar, Sittal, Periyal, everybody ate from our kitchen.
Yes.
And Party was extremely proud of that fact, and till the months and months of the work
But
carrying
he,
on.
I think, rented a big vessels. In those
Yeah,
days.
yeah, yeah.
If
Anda,
it is
kunda and all that
idli,
stuff.
if it is idli, around 250, 300 idlis she makes. And she
And
makes podi and sambar
and mind you, both these parties did it single-handedly. They didn't have any assistants, chefs, cooks, nothing. And in a way, they didn't like people meddling with their kitchen. Also, they were very protective of their kitchen.
I have seen Premi Party having help from Anumami. And some maids cut the vegetables and give. I've seen that. I've seen Sarla Party getting help from Attanga Party.
Only, only close ones. Only,
Yeah,
only,
but not on regular day, everyday basis. They
yeah,
will get
or
a help
only,
on,
you know,
not
they
on
should just,
everyday basis.
basically
But
what I meant to say, they should
one
try
best
with
quality
their
from
kitchen.
these women are they just go to the kitchen, finish, even for 50 members, just casually finish and come out. There is no hangama made. There's
I've,
no.
I've, I've, I've seen that run in the wider family too. I've seen that with Janaki Party. I actually, very unfortunately, couldn't eat from Arbadi Party because she was bedbound by the time I grew up and had some meaningful perceptions of taste. But I remember you saying you loved Arbadi Party's Godrasam, which I find interesting because Godrasam is something that is not regularly made. It is only made when you are back from some yatra or something, and that night there is nothing else. Everybody is tired, so you make Godrasam and Chuttaplam, finish it. Morning you make proper food. That's what is the thing. But you incidentally liked that Godrasam very much. But then talking about food, and Arbadi Party is my great grandmother, and Janaki Party is her sister, my great grandmother as well. I've had the privilege of going wild with Janaki Party's kitchen, and this fact is true for Janaki Party also, because I remember a lot of elderly people, particularly women in the family, they showered their love through food, through cooking and serving. I remember after Kalyan Tata passed away, Janaki Party stopped kind of regularly cooking. But whenever I was around, she used to cook for me. And that is the way she used to say, I love you. She was never going to give me a hug and a kiss and do PDA.
Precisely. People said, I love you to their family members and their closed ones, not verbally, but through their
food.
presence.
Exactly. Food. And Janaki Party was such a determined cook, and she used to do it so well. And you remember last few years of her life, she had a little bit of a bend in the back. She had a bit of a tilt, and she was walking with a stick, struggling a little bit. But still, all that kind of stuff that requires what kind of that determination. And that is the way they say I love you. That is the way they kind of share that love. And when I was in hostel, the only persistent nagging complaint that I had was about food, and it. Except you, everybody hated my hostel food, and you loved it for some weird reason.
No, it was very homely. You people are crazy.
If you had to eat the same thing every day, you would know. So that apart, we'll talk about it sometime later. But I remember Janaki Party used to make all these podis, urgais, and ready to eat stuff, homemade stuff, and send it through you. And even before I was going to go to hostel, she had Gauri Madi as the assistant and cooked a lavish spread for me. And one other incident that I remember about Janaki Party, I call her my Paradevata, and that is true because I think till the last moment of her life, she held me very close to her heart, and I still do, because I remember the day before she passed away, February 16th, she passed away, and February 15th night, about 8:15, I was on my way to the mess, college mess, and she called me on the phone, and she was like, "Enadi pandra." இல்ல பாட்டி, நான் மெஸ்ஸுக்கு போயிட்டு இருக்கேன். சாப்பிட தான் போறியான்? சாப்பிட மாட்டேன், என் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸோட போயிட்டு இருக்கேன். சாப்பிடு, காயாத, வயிறெல்லாம் காயப்படக்கூடாது, தப்பு, வயிறு அழும், காயப்படாது. ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோ, எப்பவுமே காயப்படாது, சாப்பிடு. நீங்க வந்ததுக்கப்புறம் நான் நிறைய பண்ணி தரேன், ஆனா இப்ப நீ சாப்பிடு. என்ன பண்ற பாட்டி அப்படின்னா, தெய்வம் தந்த வீடு சீரியல் பாக்குறேன், பிரேக் வருது, போன் பண்ணி உன் ஞாபகம் வந்தது, டக்குன்னு சொல்லணும்னு தான் போன் பண்ண, காயாத, சாப்பாடு நன்னாலன்னு காயாத, நீங்க வந்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் நானும் அம்மாவும் பண்ணி போடுறோம். That's the last conversation we had. Her word kayade stays with me. That's the last conversation we had. And then next day afternoon 3:30, she's not there. And the last thing she thought about me was also about my food and about my well-being, and that was interconnected. And that's why it kind of brings a tear to my eye when I think about it. And same thing with Saroja Pati. People may not know Saroja Pati as well as they knew Janaki Pati. Saroja Pati is Sharda Mami's mother, my mama, Kumar Mama's mother-in-law. And she stayed with Mama and Mami, Satya's grandmother, for wider audience. But Pati was an extremely diligent follower of acharam, rituals, customs, and all those things. Like, when you're around Pati, you got to be mindful of things, because it will really hurt her if you are not. So, and these are also the people because of whom I really started respecting the acharams and traditions. Although I do not follow everything that I'm supposed to follow by birth responsibilities, but I still respect them because of these people. And Pati, of course, I remember this one incident with Pati where, I was going to go to meet someone. You were in Vizag at that time. You arranged for my appointment. And that there was a bit of a mess up between the timings, and you were kind of rushing me. I was kind of rushing, and you kept calling me constantly. Poniya, Mandiya, Kalamniya. So 11:30, I was supposed to have some food. Our families, our houses, we have food at 11:30. And if you're going out for something important job, saptu po. Full sapad kudutha they send you. Without full sapad, they don't send you out. So Mami cooked everything, full sapade. I finished eating fast, and then I was going to rinse the plate, because we rinse the plate. And Pati, when I washed my hand and I was going to rinse the plate, Pati was like, "Paravala vidu na pandren." She took it from my hand. Avasarama pora gare nallabadiya mudiyatom, poitu va. நீ இல்ல பாட்டி, பரவாயில்ல, நான் பண்றேன். இல்ல, நீ பேத்தி தானே, பரவாயில்ல விடு, அதனால என்ன, பண்றேன், போயிட்டு வா, அடுத்த வேலையை பாரு அப்படி. This may not come across as such a big thing, more than a timely help and a hand for people in my generation or afterwards, but people in your generation will appreciate. Someone like Saroja Pati touching someone else's HL, that too for someone who can do it, someone who is not bedridden or someone who is not a toddler, is humongous. She only did it because of abundant love for me.
Thinking of Saroja Pati, there is one story about Saroji Pati also. The Haritata's sister. When you were too young, when you were 3, she passed away.
5.
5.
So, I remember that. The first death.
Whenever we used to go to Bombay, she makes very good kesari. And you used to eat kesari of that, thinking others also will make kesari because this child likes kesari, and you never used to even eat.
I till date.
She makes good kesari, and then of course everybody are very good at their own levels. It's not that others don't make good kesari, but you used to do that. You show that difference very obviously clear. People used to walk at it like anything. And that Saroji Pati used to tell everybody that this child is குழந்தை தான் தெய்வம், தெய்வம் யார் பக்கம் நிக்கிறது எல்லாரும் பாத்துக்கோங்க, like that she used to comment.
I'm not surprised she would have done that, but I till date my memory of kesari, my best cherish of kesari is that. And I don't even occasionally when my friends and I go here to Saravana Bhavan or somewhere like that. Saravana Bhavan is exotic, mind you, for those who are living in London. Okay, so when we go to places like that, Saravana Bhavan, Vasanta Bhavan, and all these places, even if it is Kayandi Bhavan, it is going to be exotic for us living outdoors. So when we go there, I actually keep the kesari on the side. Others try and hang on the kesari. He gives you only little kesari. So when they saw me keeping it on the side, they were like, "Unak vandala, enkita kuduthiru. Eduthuko, but I don't want any other kesari." So that is, that sense of taste, that sense of, that food item kesari reminds me of Saroji Party. Because and anybody else's kesari, I get a, I may be right or wrong in this, but I have a sense that fiddles with my memory, and I don't want my memory to be fiddled. I only eat kesari when it is Kovil Prasadam, and at no other time, because I want it to remain as my memory of Saroji Party. That is that.
And there are many people in our lives, they touched us through food. Prema Party.
Of course. So, see, talking about Prema Party, Prema
She's
Party,
embodiment of love.
yes, she's an embodiment of love, and she's also another woman who didn't run a house, she ran a Vedandangal. She didn't run a house, she ran a Vedandangal. I'm sure even if they've now moved to a more assisted environment, if you go to her, she'll offer you a spread. I'm sure of that. And with the Prema Party, the thing is, her food is always subtle and light on the stomach, but delicious on the palate. See, everything, of course, heirloom recipes, she makes wonderful bagara bangan, stew, all other. And one of the things that I love from Prema Party's kitchen is bisi bela baat, her bisi bela baat, her pongal, and she actually learned the recipe of pal korkatai from Patapati because Haritata loved it. So that pal korkatai recipe. So these are all kind of heirloom things, and I love the fact that even though Prema Pati's cooking is very subtle, when I go in there, she adds slightly more mulaga, 5 mulaga vechu arakkiradhu, 8 mulaga vechu arakkiradhu, because அந்த விறுவிறுப்பு வரணும். She doesn't even call it karam. She calls it அந்த விறுவிறு வரணும்ன்றதுக்காக பண்றேன். So that so it's and she makes lovely puttu. Later stage puttu for breakfast. One of my favorite memories with Prema Party is puttu for breakfast. People sulk about making puttu, but she kind of later she started using puttu maav for assistance because it made life easier, but still it is her recipe. And so these kind of things, like with
Yeah.
So with Prema Party's kitchen, I mean, I remember this one poignant incident. I visited Haritata and Prema Party for a bereavement. They lost someone close to them, and I visited them on the very next day of the bereavement, and still nobody was going to ask for food on that day. I just visited them to just express my love and support, but she made sure I had food to my tummy full. She made sure I had stew because she knows I like stew. She made sure I had food, stew, sadam, and roti, whatever I like, because her rotis are very soft. I like her rotis. So she made sure that is spicy enough for me. Even in that mood, in that place, even if I wouldn't have had a meal there, it wouldn't been an issue. But she made sure that is spicy enough to me. That is the kind of culture that I was raised with. And that is the way these people express their love to me. And that sort of...
You connect with the family through food. It is very clearly seen, Rasika. For that matter, Janagi Party's same samayal is the same taste, same kaimanam. You can eat it with Hema Perima. You can eat it with Uma Perima. They got their mother's kaimanam. Especially Uma Perima's sambar is neither pitla nor sambar in between, but it is something beyond words to describe.
Yeah.
Hema Parima, whatever she cooks, vatta kolambu, whatever she cooks, it will be at their best level. Very authentic way of making. So,
And
what why I speak a lot about this food, for sorry to interrupt, is people who watch us may not know who is Prema Party, who is Saroja Party, who is Sarala Party, who is Hema Perima. But what the connection we would like to give is all of them are relatives, close knit relatives in one or the other form. And your generation, Rasika's generation, children, remember them through food. What or how are we connecting with the next generation children?
You say Ariksha's generation.
Anisha generation, maybe 14, 15 years old children, approximately. How are they connecting with people? Because their food habits are absolutely opposite of your food levels. Like what you have as a food, Diksha takes as a food is something completely not liked by Aniksha. Not only Aniksha generation children. They are more into thighs, pastas, pizzas. They are more into Chinese. They taste
Order in,
lots of.
basically. Order in. So
Even
I'd
when
like.
we make that at home, they eat well rather than they eating our traditional food. So how do they connect with people? Because they connect with McDonald's, they connect with other food chains very well because this is very good there. They serve that well. There is one Akka Didi there, she is making very well. So food is a connection to them also, Rasika. But then they are not connecting with their own family circle or their own relative circle. They're connecting with some other people. That is not wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Saying
So for me, I'll tell you what made it easier for me. What made it easier for me is I was born and raised in a joint family, so I could always think of a joint family. People come and stay in our house. Whenever they are in town, they're going to come and stay in our house. Both Premi Bhatti's house and Sarla Bhatti's house. No, for as long as they are, they're going to stay, and it's all family. Nobody is a guest. It's all family. It's all that way. So in a way, that kind of helped. So I always, my initial memories of a house is a house full of people, and that helped me connect with people. And mobile phones, technologies, and these things came only when I was 13, 14. So it gave me a lot of time to kind of be with people. And this generation, Aniksha's generation, probably they got it all way too earlier than they can handle, and now their lives depend on that. I mean, that's one thing. And we used to grow up with something called bedtime stories and kada solradhu. And
Yeah.
when you go to a party, tata or party, they tell you a lot of kadai, and you have to have the appetite for having that, knowing that kadai. And that kadai can be something from history, like Ramayana, Mahabharata, or something from their own life. You should have the interest to know about their own life. How does that come? That comes through talking. And
On that note, Rasika, sorry to interrupt. On that note, I am very happy that you mentioned Ramayana Mahabharata as history, not mythology.
For me, it is history. You see, I've done my research on things, and whatever it is history for me. Itihasa, the way it happened. That is why it is called Itihasa. It translates to the way it happened. So let's get into that debate little later for another session. But thing is, it can come from anywhere, and knowing their lives, kind of growing up with them. When you have tatas, parties, relatives around, you kind of grow up with them. They are like children. That is where that interaction comes from. You see. So that I would encourage. I mean, I'm no one to propagate joint families, or I'm no one to propagate this is the way people should live. But I would encourage constant interaction, visits. So as family visits, you go on an exotic holiday, please go. I mean, we as a country, I'm a civil servant. As a country, we earn a lot from tourist visa, so I cannot say don't go, but go. But also have one visit to your ancestral house, ancestral village, family. Get to know, when you come from villages, everybody is your relative. It's not that particular people who live in a particular household, that whole village is related to you in some way. So these are all explore. I wouldn't say these children don't have the appetite for it. Probably we don't have the right way to communicate it in an interesting way to them. When you start living with people, when they start playing an active role in your life, that is when you will be inquisitive to know more about their lives. So any child will be interested to know more about their mother or father, but if they need to be more interested to know more about their relatives and their grandparents, they need to play a more proactive role in their lives, and we need to create that opportunity. So my value system comes from these, not just you, it comes from my grandparents, it comes from the wider family.
Correct.
And I understand these subtle nuances, like just what I said about Saroja Patti and her acharam. Kids this generation may not understand what that example means, but because they don't have exposure to that aspect of that thing. And I'm going to give you 2 or 3 more examples as well, like how living this kind of communication exists and how it's enhanced. Like you might remember Bhagya Mami. She's another great girl. I call them Mami, Ate, but they are all my parties and grandmothers. But that's because of you. You started calling your party Amma. That's because of you. The whole thing got messed up. So don't blame me. But thing is, Bhagya Mami, I visited her in Bangalore before I came off to London. I haven't been back in a while, but visited her. And after Murali Mama's time, she sort of stopped making coffee because she didn't have that joy in making coffee. Mama used to enjoy his coffee. People think my coffee addiction is from Raman Tata alone. It is not. My family has a Ramu Mama, Murali Mama. My family has a whole lineage of filter coffee, and my body runs with, I'd say, 50-50 filter coffee and blood. So Bhagya Mami stopped making that filter coffee because she didn't have anybody else who would drink it with that same joy. And she, the same way you say now, because I only cook well when Harry comes home, because I don't have any good audience. That's
correct.
That is the thing. So that is the same thing.
I realized that when Hari was around during Navaratri time, my cooking skills really were too good. After which, when I wanted to cook, that's not happening to that level, because I don't have anybody to cherish and eat.
So same thing with Bhagya Mami and coffee. And when I went there, she actually, after I think 3 or 3.5 years, took out the filter, made filter coffee again, just for me. And that was her way of saying I love you.
I love you.
And someone who kind of takes an effort to relive that memory. She and mind you, she comes from a Kannadiga family, so she also makes excellent pisibela and dosai. She comes from the land of dosai. You cannot beat her on dosai.
Yeah.
So Bhagya Mami's masala dosai, huli, these are things I'd bet my life for. And filter coffee. So she kind of had that naluveli sapadu thing. She was never happy when I go around to stay with her. She's never happy with moonuveli sapadu. You always have to have naluveli sapadu. So that is Bhagya Mami, and that is her way of. She says, she said to me, when you come and stay with me, when I cook for you, I enjoy the same way when I cooked for Murali Mama. So that is what she said to me, and that is what has stayed with me for all these years. And that is how. And same thing with Uma Perima, Hema Perima. See, Hema Perima is you've talked about her culinary skills. I'll tell you 2 things about it. Even if it's not just me going, even if I were to take 50 people along with me to Hema Perima's house, she wouldn't be afraid. She's like, the thing she'll ask is, menu solri, enna menu. Vanilla. So and another thing she does is she used to say one word that stayed with me, because I stayed with her for 6 months in Chennai when I was doing an internship, and I used to take my friends along, whims and fancies. முன்னாடியே சொல்றதெல்லாம் இல்ல, ஆபீஸ்ல இருந்து கிளம்பும் போது யாராவது கூட வராங்களா, வாங்க சாப்பிட்டு போலாம் வாங்க. So that kind of thing. So that random thing. And I used to ask her, பெரியமா நீ அசரவே மாட்டேளான்னு. அதெல்லாம் என்னடி, சாப்பாடெல்லாம் என்ன பிரமாதம், வயிறு வாழ்த்துண்டி, யார் வந்தாலும் சாப்பாடு நம்ம பாத்துக்கு வந்தா சாப்பிடாம போக கூடாது, சாப்பிட்டா அவங்க நம்மள மறந்தாலும் வயிறு வாழ்த்தும். That word stayed with me.
It's very, very true. That I realized when actor come politician Vijaykanth passed away very recently. I have seen that video. People were coming in lakhs and lakhs and lakhs, and only giving their condolences to the family and thanking Vijaykanth for the food he gave to the community. Whomsoever comes, they get food from Vijaykanth. When they come to Chennai, they can rely on Vijaykanth's place that if they go there, they get good food, not just the food. So, வயிறு வாழ்த்திட்டு அதை நான் கண்ணால பார்த்தேன்.
Hema Perima used to say it a zillion times. That word stuck in my mind like anything. That's why I still follow that thing. That little urge of the vairu vartum thing. And one final example with Uma Perima. You know Uma Perima's Takali Tokku is my ultimate favorite. It is like my Vaikunta Prasadam. And she makes it every time I come. And Tira she makes it. She never lets it run out. And not just that, Katrika, Murungaka, Korambu. You talked about the base sambar that she makes, but slightly on that note, she also makes Katrika, Murungaka, Korambu, and her rajma is the only rajma that I eat, because after staying for 3 years in a hostel and after having been served rajma twice a week, I started despising rajma. Hate is a small word. I started despising rajma. And if I ever enjoy rajma again, it is only from her kitchen. So Uma Perima's rajma is the only exception that I eat rajma. So her avial, why I'm talking about avial is she had medical advice a couple of years ago to avoid tengai. And she was going to, I was going to come home the next day for a meal, and she was going to make avial because everybody in the family knows I love avial. And she made avial without tengai, and that was brilliant. Neither me nor Peripa realized that was without tengai. It tasted the same, actually tasted the same. She made it without tengai because and when you cook with a lot of love, when you cook with that kaimanam, even if 1 or 2 ingredients go here and there, it doesn't come through. And that is what I want to communicate. This is non-verbal messaging. This is I went to Chennai when you were in Vizag. I was staying with you in Vizag. I went to Chennai to attend a wedding in a friend's family, very dear friend's family, and I stayed with her for about a week. And she was just coming out of hospital because she's not been very well. She was actually I thought she was still having a cook. That cook had gone away, but I thought she was still having a cook. But when I came, she made sure, even if she was not 100% fit, she made sure she cooked for me every hot meal. Menu solri, menu potu samaikanu, menu solri. So even in that fragile health, or even when she was feeling tired or something, she brought herself to the kitchen and cooked for me delicacies. So that this is the kind of communication you have. No McDonald's chef will cook for you when he's sick.
True.
No restaurant chef will cook for you in spite of the body saying I cannot stand it. And if it's 1 or 2 ingredients missing in a hotel food, you'll realize you can't eat it. You can't eat it if hotel runs out of some key ingredient. But this is all a way of communication. This is all a way of getting together. Why I gave these examples is, people might think I'm talking about 2 personal anecdotes and food. Why I gave these examples again is, you asked about how they can connect with the wider family and their relatives. Bring them together for meals. That is one way of connecting. Make a potluck. Everybody make a dish. Bring it together about at least once a month. Everybody also, living in a town.
Yeah, bringing them together for a meal is very, very important. Sometimes what happens when we bring them together for the meal, this generation feels very boring talks, so I don't want to be with them, and then they try to move on. So for that, the solution would be involve them in cooking, involve them in serving, involve them in the hospitality, so that they are around and they involve and they enrich.
Exactly. And when you talk about family recipes, every family has heirloom recipes. Make those heirloom recipes when they are around. Tell them this is not available anywhere except in the family, and that will interest them. That will interest them because this generation and
Yeah,
my generation and this generation want things to be unique, so they can post on their Instagram about this. Say it's my family recipe.
Until Ramu Mama, Uma Mami makes, that Ramu Mama's wife Uma Mami makes.
Wait. That is a whole segment that I want to come to. That's why I was keeping it. Yeah. So what it is unique. Talking about unique recipes. Uma Mami probably makes some of the most unique recipes in the family. Kamala orange tol, she makes a curry out of it.
Yeah.
That tol is supposed to be, that thick peel is supposed to be bitter, but she makes a curry out of it that carries that slight bitterness, but still is very spicy and so edible. And that really tastes excellent. And when I posted on her birthday about this Kamala orange tol curry, Satya, one of my cousins, Saroja Pati's granddaughter, she messaged me saying Kamala orange tol curry is interesting. My Perima, Sharda Mami's sister, apparently used to make Kamala orange tol vettakurambu in their household. So, the way you connect people through food connects in a different ways. That's why there are disciplines like food sociology, food archaeology, anthropology. So I remember when I used to study sociology, anthropology back in TIS, in my grad school, one of the first lessons we were taught is when you go out on the field to interact with people, the easiest way to bond with them is share their food. So Vyasa sir, the first session he taught us, share their food.
Yeah. And so, I also observe when you are emotionally totally down, either you overeat or undereat. Again, emotion is connected directly with the food. In our culture, they say, unave marundu. Whenever at home somebody is having acidic problem or gas trouble, Pati says, Arbati Pati, Langanam podri. Langanam pode. ஒரு நாள் லங்கனம் போடு, பெருமாளுக்கு போடு, முருகனுக்கு போடு, அன்னைக்கு செவ்வாய்க்கிழமைனா முருகனுக்கு போடு, சனிக்கிழமைனா பெருமாளுக்கு போடு. So when you think Perumal Murugan and all, you don't feel tempted to eat, no, because Perumal can put on.
Yeah.
That is her ideology. And the next day food would not be a normal sambar or some kind of food. Anybody is sick at home, in whatever sense, that would be kind of molagu kolumbu or anything with the molagu, pepper-based strong food, molagu kootu, molagu potta kootu, something of that.
For that matter,
yeah, through food there are many things which are being cured in the family. For small things, going to hospital, going to the doctor was not advised by the elderly people at all. In fact, Pati used to say, அப்பா பார்த்தாலும் ஆஸ்பத்திரி வாசல மிதிக்கிறது அது ஏதோ அசிங்க மாதிரி ஐயா அப்படின்னு. Which means, what is this? They are often going to the hospital. They are not healthy at all. That was the culture, the lifestyle they had. Now, if we don't take any tablet, don't go to the doctors, then we feel something wrong with us.
Exactly. Right? And I'm guilty of that. I should admit. I go to doctors a lot. I use a lot of medication. But that apart, if Janaki Pati was around, she would have given me a nice strangle for this. With her stick, she would have been like, "Hey, manatha vaangrani." And I miss that, honestly. And then thing is, when you say "udave marundu," it is true in many ways, more than one way. Like when you have a really bad sinus or cold, the kind of healing that a molagu rasam or a molagu kodambu gives you is ultimate. Your prednisolone, your sinus 77, all that works. I'm not discrediting medicine, but it doesn't soothe you like that. Medicine does the technical job, but you need something else to soothe you. That reminds me of Uma Mami's Kamyas Tokku. Kamyas is a bit. It's something like Nellikai, and that is abundantly available in Philippines and some parts of South India as well. So that Philippines, that thing. Obviously, my mama mami were in Philippines, Manila for 15 years or so. So they were used to that. And whenever I used to go, she used to make kamyas tokku for me. For the previous day, she used to tell that kaigiri karama to bring that kamyas and make tokku that I used to carry back because one thing, I needed that spicy kick in the food. Second thing, she felt that was good for the immunity. So whenever I used to go, she used to give me that immunity booster, Kamyas Tokku.
Yes.
That does the same thing as Nellikai. And, the thing is, she does USP recipes with a healthy twist to it. And,
Yes.
if I go afternoons, mostly she'd be making sabudana vada. So the thing with afternoon coffee that comes most times is sabudana vada. Mind you, she has varicose veins. It is not easy for her to make vadas or puri or anything like that. But she still makes it. And thing about her is she looks into the fact what is good, what is tasty for my palate, and what is good for my health, and balances both.
I remember this. Yes. Now I can connect. One day when he comes from his office, almost it is night. He comes with Gurpreet, his wife, and ma'am, make coffee ho jayega? I always say yes, and then I make fresh decoction. And Gurpreet always scolds him. Ma'am looks very tired. You tang karte ho. Why are you troubling her? But then I recollect. One day notices and tell that the minute ma'am makes and brings coffee and some snack along with that she makes and brings. Do you see her refreshed? Completely tiredness has gone. She's fresh now. So I'm helping, ma'am. That's what he used to say. This is correct. When we are even sick and tired, when somebody wants some food and we are good at it making, that is therapy.
Yeah, and especially I don't know where Uma Mami got that science from. Health and taste, perfectly balanced. And in spite of it being not so easy for her with her pains and all, she painstakingly makes vada, puri, chapati, anything and everything. And with perfect shape, mind you. எனக்கு கை வலிக்கிறதுங்கிறதுனால ஷேப் அப்படி இப்படி போகாது, வடை உருண்டையா தான் இருக்கும்.
She is a perfectionist. Yeah. If there is no perfection, she will not survive.
So and goduma halwa, it's one of the most boring dishes in an Indian family, South Indian family. But her goduma halwa, it comes with a twist. Like she adds a bit of not just kungumapu, she adds pistachio and yelaka together, grounded. So that masala has a bit of a trick. And that goduma halwa is semi-solid. It's not even like cutting pieces. It's just like sakar pungal pakam. It comes to your mouth. So these kind of things, these are family insider trade secrets. Share this with your next generation. People will need these recipes. People will need these tricks. They can become people don't realize how big of an Instagram influencer you can become if you just interact with your grandparents and get all their secrets into your bag. So that
nice talking to you. Yes.
Yeah, that is all I wanted to say. I mean, there's lots and lots to say. If we were to talk about things, we'd be talking to no end. But let's call it
another session, Jessica, whenever you're free, and another weekend when I am free, we will continue this conversation in part 2.
With probably a different twist and a different
things. Definitely.
And
I'm very happy that you have taken most of the close family circles names, that you remember everybody. Not to praise you, but to tell you that many won't many won't remember or many won't do this, Rasika. This connection with the people, everybody got in your generation and this younger generation also, everybody got. Aniksha also, it's not that she's cut off from all the relatives. She goes to all their houses because I definitely take her to all the places, all the relatives' places. But then what you cherish, I do not see in many children that they cherish at your age. You're all children to me, you are an adult still. And to some most extent, Diksha also cherishes the food, connect with the people through food. She enjoys food. She appreciates people, connects with them through food. But as I mentioned, even like your generation children, when they give their gratitude to their family members and their friends for this connection, which happened through food or in any other form, food is majorly what we are discussing, then I think the relationship will get into the deeper form. The gratitude should come from within. Thanks, Chollu, not like that. That gratitude should come within. Like you told, Janaki Pati kept a message for you in her last stage. And Raman Tata also, for that matter, he kept you in his mind till his last breath.
Yes.
So all these things, definitely that gratitude from grandchildren or children of this generation to their elderly people plays a vital role in keeping up the relationship is what I feel. With that note, we will end today's
one thing before we end the conversation, you told a lot of good things about me, which is strange coming from an Indian mother praising her daughter on the face. But I think it is not the perme illa kadame, because I've been given so much, I've been blessed so abundantly. It is my duty to share. Even today, if I open up my house to people, even if I'm hosting, if I'm giving to food banks, delivering people hot meals, I'm doing all of this because it's not because I think I'm doing people a favor. It is because it is my way of respecting my elders. It is my respect, my seva to the elders of my family that I'm physically not able to do because of the distance, and it is my way of giving tarpanam to my ancestors who have passed away. So because as different genders have different roles in that sphere, and I think this is my role. This is my way of tarpanam to ancestors and respect to elders who are still looking after me, looking out for me. So it is a swartham. It is a minute swartham. It is
gratitude is not a swartham. Definitely it is a swartham, because the more you give gratitude to your own people, the more you are blessed. But then you don't do it keeping in mind it is swartham. It happens automatically.
It just organically happens. I cannot not do it. It's because of all these people. It's because of all of you. So anyways, thank you for this conversation. I'm going to have a rapid.
I really enjoyed this Sunday evening, this rainy Sunday evening. Nice talking to you, Rasika, and I feel really content and good. We usually keep this conversation over the phone. You remember, for a longer period of time, we have these lengthy calls. But then your idea of having it like this is really, really good.
After that Christmas, it kind of transformed me in some way, and I thought this is a good idea. And so and on record, I want to apologize to the elders of my family, because apart from you and probably Ramama, Uma, Mami, I'm not talking as regularly as I like to anyone else because of these crazy schedules. I will catch up. I'll get there. I want to place this apology on record. After having spoken so much, I would be dubious to not apologize.
I have to send this recording to all of them so that they will accept your apologies.
So anyways, thank you.
Good day. Enjoy.
Good day. Bye.